Welcome back. I am Professor Awais Ahmed Hussaini, working as Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department at Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Yadra. So, students, in this video, we will discuss about some introductory part of the heat load estimation. So, the most important thing of the heat load estimation is in HVAC industry is every application like restaurants, shopping malls, banquet hall, commercial, domestic buildings, some government organization, private organizations, then cinema halls, everywhere we need to calculate the tonnage capacity of the air conditioning. So we must have to know the basic steps regarding that heat load calculation. So heat load calculation is nothing but the process of the determining the heat load for a certain space or quantity of the matter. Heat load is the amount of the heat energy that need to be added to maintain a desired temperature setup. It may also be referred as the heating load of the thermal load. The amount of the heat energy that need to be removed from the space in order to reach the desired setup in the required form. So in every HVAC application like cinema hall, then commercial buildings, then shopping malls, restaurants, hospitals, everywhere we need to calculate that heat load before installation of that air conditioning. So students, the most important part, there are two basic things through which we can calculate that heat load. The most important first method is that manual process. In that, the data gathered from the building, survey and complementary document is analyzed using predicted equation and tabular format. The exact equation and the table values of the U's are determined based on the building geometry. Also, we need to calculate various U values, that is overall heat transfer coefficient. Also, we must have to calculate latent and sensible heat factor with the help of some standard assumptions, and we must have to carry the ISHRAE, ASHRAE and carrier handbook in order to find out the various values. Also, we must have to consider the roof, then ceilings, then walls, material and all, and these all the data are coming from these manuals. So we must have to refer that manuals in case of the manual process. But in case of the software, generally in HVAC we use Excel, and through that Excel we can calculate that heat load calculation. But apart from that, nowadays most of the HVAC designers are using software like the Trace 700 and HAP, that is a hourly analysis program to perform the heat load calculation. So these are the two methods through which we can calculate that heat load estimation. One is that manual and second one is that software. So today lecture we will discuss how to basic introductory part about that heat load calculation, also fact and figure about that heat load calculation through that manual process. So heat load calculation are carried out to estimate the amount of the heat energy that should be added to the building to arrive at the required heating capacity. During winter peak heating, load occurs before the sunrise and after sunset. Internal heat sources are beneficial as they assist in heat addition process. Normally, to specify the problem, heat load calculation are carried out assuming steady state condition. So you just take example of the one restaurant, or you just take example of the one commercially building. That no doubt it is we must have to consider the static condition, and if we must focus on that first design geometry of that building, like orientation of that building, that is facing of that building, then sun radiation, amount of the heat radiation falling on the surface of that front side of the building. Also, we must have to consider the material of that building. So this is most important step of that heat load estimation. So now this is the most important equation, balancing equation. It is mostly used in case of the heat load calculation during manual process. For any building, there exists a balance point at which the solar radiation, that is Q solar, and internal heat generation rate, that is Q in, exactly balance the heat losses from the building. Definitely there are some losses are there. So here this is the equation: Q solar plus Q internal heat gain for sensible condition is equal to UA. UA is nothing but overall heat transfer coefficient, and subtraction between that inside and outside temperature. So this is the most important equation. Further, that UA is nothing but overall heat transfer coefficient, heat transfer area of the building, and T in is the required indoor temperature and T out is the outdoor temperature. So this is the equation through which we can calculate that UA values manually. Now the method of the estimation. Generally the heating and cooling load calculation involves a stepwise procedure taking into account all the building energy flows. Like you just take example of the commercial building. We must have to calculate first of all we must have to read the drawing of that building initially, then after that location, then region, then facing, then their direction of the sun radiation. After that we must have to consider the U values of the various materials which is used for construction of the buildings. Similar way we must have to consider the sensible and latent heat gain factor. So when we consider the inside condition, we must have to study that how many number of the peoples are inside, then what is the sensible and latent load in that room. We must have to know that particular standard data. Most important that is we must have to carry that ASHRAE and that carrier handbook in order to calculate the various values which is required for heat load calculation. The variety of the method ranging from the simple rule of the thumb based on the assumptions to complex transfer function method are used in practice to arrive the building loads. Thumb rule are useful in primary estimation. That is main drawbacks. There are some drawbacks, but due to that expertise we will get expert in that thumb rule also. So we must have to have the capacity of the judgment through experience and all, then we can apply that thumb rule. So this is generally idea about that thumb rule of the selection of that capacity of the air conditioning in various sectors. You just consider the example of the office building. So in case of that external zone, or if it is in internal zone, then if we use the 25% glass, 50% glass or 75% glass, then this is the tonnage capacity 3.5 TR, 4.5 TR and 5.0 TR. This is according to the thumb rule. But most important is here we have to consider that area 1000 square feet, then and then only we can apply this thumb rule. On the basis of that you can apply that similar thumb rule for others if area is changed. So internal zone, if the building is in internal zone, then tonnage capacity is in between 2.8 TR. Similar way computer rooms are there, then we must have to consider 6 to 12 TR because the sensible heat factor and latent heat factor is more in case of the computer or the server room. Similar way in case of the hotels, in bedroom and in restaurant, these are the, if the room is single, then we must have to use that 0.6 TR per room. Definitely the room area is less than that 10 into 10, then and then only it is possible to use that at least 0.6 TR per room. If the room is double, then definitely 1 TR is required. For restaurant, 5 to 9 TR is capacity is used for 1000 square feet area. So similar way, you just take example of the shops, you just take example of the banks, you just take example of the theaters. In case of the departmental stores, generally 4.5 to 5 TR are used. If it is upper floor, then sensible heat load factor is less, so we require less amount of that tonnage capacity, that is 3.5 to 4.5 TR. Similar way in case of the shops, 5 TR capacity is used if the area of that shop is around 1000 square feet. Similar way for 1000 square feet capacity, the capacity required for the bank is around 4.5 to 5.5 TR. Similar way for theater and auditorium, 0.07 TR per seat, that is most important. Suppose the theater is designed for 500 peoples, then we must have to multiply that TR and we get the general idea about that capacity of the air conditioning for considering that 1000 square foot area. So these are the some thumb rules are generally used or practiced by some technician. Now more accurate and load estimation method involves a combination of the analytical method and empirical results obtained from the actual data. So we must have to consider the internal and external conditions, standard conditions. Suppose if we are situated in the Pune area, then we must have to consider the inlet or internal and external condition considering that Pune area. So we must have to select that dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature, and relative humidity, specific volume corresponding to that Pune area only. If we are situated in Mumbai area, then we must have to consider the standard conditions of that Mumbai area, okay, in order to calculate that heat load. For example, the use of the cooling load temperature difference, that is CLTD, for estimation the heat gain, and the use of the solar heat gain factor, that is SHGF, for estimation of the heat transfer through the arrangement of the window in the building. So nowadays most important thing is more accurate method that require the use of the computer has been developed. So generally HAP software is used in order to calculate that estimation of that cooling and heating. Similar way we are practice that our concept of that knowledge of heat load on Excel. Through that Excel also we will get direct values after setting some standard equation in that Excel sheet. So this is all about basic introductory part of that heat load estimation. Now we will discuss next part, that is cooling load calculation. So design cooling load takes into account all the loads experienced by a building under the specific set of the assumption conditions. So we must have to consider these assumptions. So the first and most important assumption is outside conditions are selected from the long-term statistical database. So design data for outside condition for various locations of the world have been collected and are available various handbook. So as discussed earlier, we must have to consider the inlet and outdoor conditions like dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature, relative humidity corresponding to ASHRAE and that carrier handbook. We will get those all values for our particular region. If we are situated in the Kolhapur region, then definitely we must have to follow the standardized data from the Pune region, because Pune is nearer with us. So that's why every data we get with the help of the handbook. So now the next important is the load on the building due to solar radiation is estimated for the clear sky condition. So here the most important factor is the solar heat gain, and that solar radiation are falling on the building surface through different materials like glass, then concrete, cement, bricks, roof, then such kind of the things. So we must have to consider the solar heat gain factor for that all materials. So building occupancies assumptions means we must have to read that design of the building, orientation of the building, facing of the building towards sun. This is the most important part. Now the all buildings equipment and appliances are considered to be operating at a rated capacity. So whatever the equipments are used inside, suppose there is one office is there, so how many laptops, how many computers, how many projectors are there, we must have to consider those things while calculating that heat load estimation. Also if we talk about that commercial building, we must have to consider the components like geyser, then refrigerator, similar way electric iron, then computer, laptops, bulbs, tubes, fans. These are the most important things we must have to consider while designing the heat load. So these are the two important points, that is sensible and latent heat load. We must have to consider the sensible heat is the heat only in that the temperature is increases without changing the phase, but in case of the latent, the phase change takes place. So we can apply that sensible and latent heat factor for both, that is for equipment also, for human also. So when we talk about the sensible load, then the heat flowing into the building by conducting through the exterior walls, floor, ceiling, door and windows. So this is one kind of the heat transfer procedure. So the heat transfer occurs in the building application with the help of mostly in case of the radiation, then conduction and convection. So we must have to know the heat flowing into the building by conduction through the exterior walls, floors, ceilings, doors and windows. So these are the some heat generating ways through which the temperature is unstable. So we must have to study the materials also, and in that material we must have to know their UA values, that is overall heat transfer coefficient. Okay, so now the next is heat received from the solar radiation. This is the next step. Now the heat given by the electrical appliances like lights, motor, machinery, cooking operation, industrial processes, etc. Heat liberated by the occupant, that is also most important thing. Means human being, we are situated in the, suppose we are situated in the room, so we must have to know our sensible and latent heat factor. Similar way, heat carried out by the outside air which leaks into through the cracks in the door. So we must have to consider the leakage losses also. So this is all about that sensible load condition. While in case of the latent heat, the heat gain due to condensation of the moisture from the occupant. That is, you just take example of the human sweating, through which that latent heat load occurs there. So we must have to consider such kind of the factor. The second one is the heat gain due to condensation of the moisture from any process such as cooking and food. So here the phase change takes place. So the application like cooking and cooking food applications. So here we must have to consider the latent load conditions. So similar way, the heat gain due to the moisture passing directly into the conditioned space through permeable walls, also partition from the outdoor region where the water vapors are more. Such kind of the latent load we must have to consider while designing the main part of the capacity of the refrigerator air conditioning system with the help of that sensible and latent heat factor. Similar way in case of the space characteristics. So in case of the spatial characteristics, the most important factors are that orientation of the building, like south, west, then southwest, then the east. Such kind of the space characteristics are most important. The first important is that orientation. The second one is the size and shape. Means here we must have to consider the dimensions, that is the length, width, height, thickness, etc. Then also the next factor is that construction materials. So for construction of the roof, then wall, then floor, then partition, we are selecting various materials. So that material is also most important, and we must have to calculate the U values of such kind of the materials like glass, cement, concretes, whatever, then gypsum board, it is POP panels, etc. Similar way, in case of the windows, door openings are also most important. Their orientation, their facing is also most important. Similar way, the surrounding conditions are important, like dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature, relative humidity, etc. We must have to consider the ceilings effect, amount of the heat radiations of the sun are coming on the ceiling. Then we must have to consider the space characteristics like a number of the occupant, their activities, then their number, their duration. Similar way, the appliances like electrical appliances like power uses, like electric geyser, computer, printer, projector, etc. Similar way, we must have to consider the infiltration or exfiltration effect. Similar way, we must have to consider the indoor and outdoor lighting conditions. So students, this is all about some introductory part of that heat load estimation. Our next video will be on how to calculate that heat load through that standard procedure. We will discuss the various steps step by step, so you will get the idea about the heat load estimation. Thank you.